Hey everyone, and welcome. In the world of cybersecurity, we spend billions, literally billions, on advanced technology. But what if I told you that our biggest threat, and maybe our greatest defense, isn't a piece of tech at all? Today, we're going to flip the script and show you how your people can become your most powerful security asset.
So let me just ask you this straight up. What is your company's #1 cybersecurity vulnerability? You might be thinking, oh, it's our firewall, or maybe our cloud setup. The thing is, the data shows it's probably none of those things.
In fact, the answer really comes down to this one single, pretty startling number: 82%. Just let that hang there for a second.
Yup, that's the percentage of all data breaches that involve what we call a human element. We're not talking about super hackers in a dark room cracking impossible code. No, we're talking about a well-meaning employee who clicks a bad link, or reuses a weak password, or just falls for a clever scam.
And when you've got a problem that's behind more than 8 out of every 10 security failures, well, you're not dealing with a simple technical glitch anymore. You're dealing with a truly human-sized problem.
I mean, this chart really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Attackers have figured out that it's just way easier to trick a person than it is to break through layers of high-tech defense. And because of that, breaches caused by human action completely dwarf the ones from pure system failure.
And these human-sized problems, they come with a massive price tag. In 2023, the average cost of just a single data breach hit $4.45 million. And that's not just some IT cleanup fee. We're talking about fines, lost business, and serious damage to a company's reputation, all from one little incident.
But here's the crucial mindset shift. This isn't about blaming people. It's about empowering them. This is where we get to introduce this awesome idea of a human firewall, the concept of transforming your entire team from a potential vulnerability into an active, thinking, breathing line of defense that can spot threats technology alone will always miss.
So, if we can actually do this, if we can successfully build up this human firewall, what kind of an impact can we really expect? Well, the answer is what we like to call the 70% solution.
And here's the really encouraging news. Research shows that companies that actually put effective security awareness training in place can slash security incidents by as much as 70%. That's not a small improvement. That is a game changer. Just think about the differences it makes in the real world. You've got company A over here, constantly putting out fires, living with this high risk of a massive breach, and honestly, a culture where everyone's afraid of getting blamed. Then you have company B. Their team is invested in, they don't just avoid incidents, they actively spot and report them, which builds this incredible culture of shared vigilance.
Okay, so training is clearly the answer. We get it. But what does that actually mean? What should that training even cover to be effective? What are the absolute non-negotiables that your team has to know?
A really effective program focuses on a few core pillars. It has to start with phishing and social engineering, because that's the #1 way the bad guys get in. Then you need the fundamentals, solid password hygiene and multi-factor authentication. From there, it's all about safe data handling and even physical security, like locking your laptop. And finally, and this is so important, everyone needs to know the exact procedure for reporting an incident.
And this quote right here shows you exactly why that last point is so critical. If only 3% of your people are reporting suspicious emails, that means 97% of your potential early warnings are just getting missed entirely. A great training program builds a culture where reporting is easy, it's encouraged, and it's seen as a good thing, not as you admitting you made a mistake. But look, knowing what to teach is only half the battle. A long list of rules that nobody remembers is completely useless, right? So the real question is, how do you make this stuff actually stick?
You know, the best programs all share 5 key traits. First, the training has to be ongoing, not some boring one-time-a-year thing. Second, it has to be engaging and use real-world examples. Third, leadership has to be bought in and lead by example. Fourth, you've got to simulate attacks with things like safe phishing tests. And finally, you have to measure everything so you can adapt and get better over time.
And that testing part? That's where you see the undeniable proof. Just look at this data. It's pretty common for a company to start out with a phishing test click rate of, say, 30%. But with a year of sustained training and testing, that number absolutely plummets to under 5%. That is real, measurable risk reduction in action.
Now, taking your click rate from 30% down to 5% is a huge win for security.
But the benefits go so much further than that. Let's talk about the business payoff, because this is where a security program stops being a cost and starts being one of the smartest investments you can possibly make.
Okay, you ready for this number? 37x. According to some fantastic research, the average return on investment for security awareness training is an incredible 37 times. For every single dollar you put in, you get $37 back in prevented costs.
And that amazing ROI isn't just one thing. It's a combination of benefits that touch the entire business. You're avoiding those massive breach costs. You're keeping compliance regulators happy. You're building a stronger reputation with your customers, and you're even improving your company culture and morale. It's a win-win-win.
So, what this all really comes down to is a fundamental change in how we see things. It's about throwing out that old, tired narrative of the employee as the weakest link, and realizing that with the right investment, your people can become your single greatest security asset.
And that leaves us with one final thought. One question for you to take back to your own organization. Are your employees your weakest link, or are they your greatest defense? Because at the end of the day, it's not a matter of circumstance. It's a strategic choice.